Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, let's watch the show.
Zied doesn't really seem like himself right now. Maybe it was leaving his family and friends. Maybe it was the third degree he got from Tiffany and Micah.
And because in the back of my mind, I know that I still have something very important that I need to tell Zied. It's the fact that I used to live in the same building with my ex from Morocco.
Okay, so first off, he is in another country. He doesn't know anybody. He doesn't know the culture. It's a huge shock. He's away from his family and his hometown and all of his family and friends and everything. Yeah, he's going to be a little discombobulated. I always find it weird that when people arrive and there's an adjustment, especially the night of, that, they're like, something's going on here. Why are you acting so funny? I would expect Zied to be in a state of shock for weeks, given the massive change that he's been through. So, just take it easy. He made the trip, which means that he probably likes you, at least on some level, Rebecca. And so, you can sort of rely on that. Now, I'm guessing that Rebecca has some issues regarding abandonment and some sort of relational trauma that makes her pretty anxious in this situation, which isn't uncommon. I think that's pretty normal. Then she brings up this other thing of saying that she used to live in the same building with her ex. Okay, so I just have to think. I mean, I hope that Zied doesn't care, because I can't imagine anyone caring. Who cares? Like, homes are, I don't know. I just can't imagine that Zied's going to care. I don't know. Zied seems pretty relaxed about the fact that she's been with other people in the past. She's been married 2 or 3 other times. She was with a woman before, and Zied just is like, oh, yeah, okay, well, my culture isn't very cool with that, and don't ever tell my parents that, because they're not going to be happy about that, but, I'm okay with it. So I can't imagine he's going to flip out about the fact that another apartment in this same building, she used to live there with her ex.
I don't know how I'm going to do it.
I know this is a lot, and coming from your country and leaving your family and your friends, but are you okay?
Of course, yeah.
You promise?
I promise.
Okay, that's great. She's acknowledging that he moved and there'd be an adjustment period. So I think it's in the direction of functionality, and he's being pretty functional in this situation too. I wonder what is going on in his mind. I'm guessing it's just a lot of shock. That's usually what happens when we see people arrive in their new home. They're just looking around and they're thinking, okay, so this is home now, and just trying to adjust to that is really hard for them, which would make a lot of sense. But to take it further, what Rebecca could say, if we're going to use this as an opportunity to learn about healthy communication, I'm guessing that this would be an example that would be congruent with how Rebecca feels. She would say something like, Zied, so I know that you just are in a lot of shock right now because of all the changes that are happening in your life. You moved away from your family and friends, from your culture, from everything. I feel like you're in a little bit of a shock. Also, you've been traveling a lot, and my daughter and her boyfriend were grilling you, which I apologize for. But I just want to tell you what I'm feeling on the inside. I'm feeling a lot of shame about this apartment. I'm feeling a lot of worry that we're not going to connect. And I don't want to put that on you right now. I just want to tell you. And so could I get some reassurance from you somehow that you love me? I guess that's what I'm looking for. I guess I'm just looking for some validation or some reassurance that you love me and that you care about me. Maybe a hug. Maybe just hug me and kiss me like you normally do. Or maybe let's get rid of the cameras and you can reassure me, because I don't know if the cameras are hindering things at all. So that would be a little bit more vulnerable and a little bit more honest and a little bit more encouraging of a connection. Because I think the way that she's talking to him right now, he could interpret this as, I think Rebecca is pressuring me to say that this apartment is great, even though I think it's a little not so great. But I don't want to disappoint her. I don't think it's about the apartment. I think it's mostly about, do you love me? Forget the apartment, do you love me? Let's see if they can get there.
You do not seem happy.
Yeah, I am so tired, really. I want that shower and the rest, yeah.
It has taken years to get to this point,
And He just wants to go to bed and go to sleep. And I'm just a little concerned right now.
Again, has no one on this show ever been on an airplane ride? I go on a 4-hour airplane ride. I just want to shower and go to bed. Being cramped up in an airplane for that, and imagine coming from Tunisia, and then they force him to go out and eat and have a drink, and he gets grilled. Yeah, shower and bed makes little sense. It's just so strange that the people that are staying in their home country are always so boggled. Like, I don't understand. He seems really tired, and he says he's tired, and I'm just so confused. How is that confusing?
Is he second guessing the decisions that he's made, and that's why he's acting kind of off? I don't.
Right. That was what I suspected, is that Rebecca is unsure about whether or not he loves her. And that's normal. It's not particular to moments like this. It happens throughout a relationship. And I know y'all are listening because I know y'all comment below or you email me and you tell me, so this might be repeat information. But when you have an upwelling of that feeling of, does my spouse love me? Does my partner like me? Does my partner, are they attracted to me anymore? Do they want to be with other people? That's normal. It's normal to have that. In the rom-coms, they have their problems and then they ride off in the sunset. Everything's fine. No, everything is not fine. They ride off into that sunset and there's a billion road bumps along the way and pitfalls and all sorts of problems, including moments where you're like, wait, does this person love me? Particularly long-term relationships, particularly in a transition, vulnerable period like this. Okay, that's okay. So just acknowledge that. Don't shame yourself for that. Don't transform it into something else like, I'm pretty sure that he doesn't like me, or why doesn't he like the apartment, or I'm going to try to make him like the apartment, or whatever. Just say, you know what? I'm just having one of those moments, those very normal moments where I'm feeling insecure. Is it worth bringing up or not? Or can I soothe myself because I don't want to pressure my partner? That's one question you want to ask yourself. When in doubt, just say, hey, right now, I need some reassurance that you love me. It's nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with, I don't know, I'm just feeling a little distant, or I'm feeling a little like worried that you don't love me. Again, I'm not blaming you for anything. I'm not saying you did anything. I just have this happen to me every now and then. Can you reassure me that you love me? That's a very direct way. Another way is just to be playful about it. A lot of couples will do stuff like this and say like, hey, how much do you love me? And then the other person says, well, we all know what Zied would say. It'd be so much. So just say it, and maybe she can get there, but let's see what happens.
And doesn't regret coming here. So this is the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Get clean and comfy.
Yeah.
Okay. But regardless of how well we get along in a long distance relationship, people can change when they're in person, when they're under stress. And I need to know that I'm not making another mistake like I did before.
So she is in this moment terrified that it's going to be like before. And it might be, but to get that worried in that moment as he is tired and he's being nice and saying it's a wonderful apartment, can I just shower and go to bed? And she's interpreting that as not only he doesn't love me, but he's going to be terrible to me the way things have happened in the past. Now, there is nothing strange and nothing weird about Rebecca worrying about having things that happened in the past, having them repeated in the present. Everyone does that, particularly when you've been through a lot of train wrecks in your life. You're like, oh boy, is this going to be another train wreck? It doesn't look like a train wreck, but I feel like it might be, or little indications like, oh no, it's going to be a train wreck again. That's normal, that's okay, and maybe it will be, but I don't think we have any indication of that yet. Now, I'm guessing we're going to see some issues with Zied's jealousy. We're probably going to see that rear its ugly head again, but maybe there won't be any triggers. But anyway, so what I'm worried about is Rebecca is going to get real anxious and not take care of herself, not communicate. There's be nothing wrong with Rebecca saying, honey, I don't know what's happening to me right now, but I am freaking out. And I'm not feeling a connection with you right now. I don't want to put pressure on you, but I'm going to some weird places in my head. So if you could reassure me that you love me and that we're connected, I'll relax. I promise you. But right now, I'm freaking out. You just hand it up. You just lob the ball over the plate, and all they got to do is take a swing. Now, you got to take a swing, but I'm guessing that Zied would, I think. Although, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about Zied because he has all these things that he says that are so nice and so, it's so amazing. Everything's amazing. I wonder if Rebecca at some point thinks, are you being honest? Because if everything's amazing, how can I know that you really like something? You know what I mean? I don't know. So what would be going on with Zied there then? Maybe Zied has some issues there too around acceptance and being able to voice his true feelings about something. I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen much from Zied because they mainly focus on Rebecca and not Zied. But anyway, let's continue watching.
I want to feel like Zied is ready to be my husband and, build a life here with me, as homesick as he is. If Zied isn't happy here, I don't know if this marriage will even happen.
So she's observing his homesickness. He's just realized that it might be a lot longer for him to be able to go back home and visit his parents and then come back to the States. And he's expressing his disappointment and sadness around that. And she understands that, but she's also wondering if in his mind and in his heart he regrets the decision to come to the States and marry her. And again, as I've been saying from the beginning with Rebecca, it's normal to have that worry and just express it, and say, you're not doing anything to make me worried, but I have this worry given the fact it's totally fine that you're homesick, and that makes sense. Of course you're homesick. But I'm worried that you are going to get so homesick that you're going to leave me. And you're not doing anything to make me feel that way. These are my feelings. But I would love it if you could reassure me that that's not the case. Just throw it out there. Comment below if you want to. And one of the things I've been noticing is a lot of you are supporting each other in the comment section, giving people upvotes, commenting on other people's comments, saying nice things to each other, building a community. Warms my heart. Do that. That's wonderful. And please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.